The day the stars burned Earth. No one expected the end of the world to begin with a handshake. The Galactic Concorde's flagship, a gleaming crescent of alien alloy and humming energy, descended over Geneva with a display of lights that rivaled the aurora. News feeds lit up. Billions watched in awe as the emissaries stepped onto Earth's soil, tall, serene beings with translucent skin and voices like wind chimes. Humanity greeted them with hope. After centuries of war and division, Earth had finally united under one banner. The stars, it seemed, had taken notice. But peace was never the offer. "We are not here to negotiate," the lead emissary declared, its voice booming across the world. "You will provide 10% of your planetary resources annually, surrender your orbital space, and allow Concorde overseers to guide your evolution. In return, you will be protected. Refuse and suffer." The words dropped like cold iron into the hearts of Earth's leaders. The United Nations, backed by the newly formed Earth Defense Alliance, responded with defiance. Humanity would not become a vassal to alien overlords. The vote was unanimous. No tribute, no surrender. The retaliation came within hours. Above the clouds, the Concorde revealed a weapon unlike anything Earth had ever imagined. A crystalline sphere the size of a mountain, suspended in orbit, pulsed once, then split the sky. A beam of impossible energy lanced down, slicing across the planet's surface. New York vanished, then Shanghai, then Lagos. Over 2 billion lives erased in minutes. The Earth shook. Ash and fire blotted out the sun. Communications collapsed. Panic ruled the streets. In low orbit, Admiral Sarah Vance watched in horror from the command deck of the Odysseus, Earth's last functional space station. She clenched the rail so tightly her knuckles turned white. "They just killed a third of our world," her tactical officer whispered. Vance's voice was ice. "Then we'll make them pay in blood and stars." Far below, amid the crumbling ruins of Shanghai, a young woman named Amari Chun clawed her way out of the rubble. Her family gone. Her home reduced to dust. Smoke stung her eyes as she stumbled past corpses and fire. The Concorde ship hovered above, casting its cold shadow over the city. Amari didn't look away. She burned its silhouette into her memory. "I'm going to kill every last one of you," she whispered, voice hoarse and shaking. "I swear it." Across the planet, pockets of resistance rallied. Humanity had been fractured, broken by the stars. But in that breaking, something ancient stirred. Survival. Vengeance. Unity forged not by choice, but by necessity. One world had been attacked. One world would rise. And the galaxy would come to fear the fury of Earth. The ashes forged the blade. In the months that followed the bombardment, Earth ceased to be a planet of nations. Borders faded. Flags were folded and forgotten. The only banner that mattered now was black, adorned with a single blue star and the words, "One Earth, one vengeance." Survivors became soldiers. Cities became factories. The Earth Defense Alliance became command. In a frozen crater in Antarctica, deep beneath glacial rock, an EDA recon team discovered the impossible, an ancient alien probe buried centuries before humanity learned to split the atom. Its core contained a war algorithm, primitive by Concorde standards, but still decades ahead of anything Earth had. Scientists called it Project Helix. What they made from it should never have existed. The Phase Singularity Cannon, a weapon banned in galactic law for its cruel method of collapse. When fired, it didn't explode. It folded space, turned matter against itself, crushed ships in silent, imploding agony. Earth had been attacked with overwhelming force. Now it would respond with forbidden fire. Admiral Sarah Vance stood aboard the Titan-class battleship Excalibur, watching dry dock crews bolt the new weapon into place. The void around Earth shimmered with the glow of construction, ships, drones, orbital arrays. Once, humanity reached for the stars in hope. Now it reached in wrath. "We're not ready," General Elias Gregor warned from behind her. "No," Vance agreed, gaze hard. But neither were they when they died. Far from orbit, in a covert hangar below the Rockies, Amari-chun adjusted her exosuit's helmet and stepped into the drop bay of a strike corvette. In less than 3 months, she'd gone from student to soldier. Grief was her fuel. Rage was her focus. She led Strike Team Reaper, tasked with humanity's first blow, an attack on Concord's outpost above Europa. The assault began with silence. No warning, no diplomacy. Earth's war doctrine was simple: no mercy for those who brought none. Human Marines descended like ghosts, clad in reactive armor stitched from scavenged alien alloys. Amari moved through vacuum and fire, her pulse syncing with the exosuit's AI. Her squad tore through the station, leaving nothing but wreckage. Concord personnel, scientists, technicians, even security, were shown no quarter. When it was over, the team extracted with a single prisoner. Admiral Clay Isvor, a Concord fleet commander, burned and bleeding. Back on Earth, his interrogation was broadcast planet-wide. Vance made no apologies. This is not a war of territory. It is a war for survival. For every city we lost, 1,000 of theirs will burn. In the Concord High Council chambers, shock rippled through the ranks. Humanity, once dismissed as backward and fractured, had struck a blow that echoed across the stars. And worse, they were learning. Fast. A Concord historian murmured, "We thought them primitive. But they're not merely fighting back. They are becoming something terrible. And still Earth-built, forged from ashes, hardened by grief. One world, bound by fury." The blade was rising, and the stars would soon feel its edge. The battle for Mars, humanity's roar. The skies over Mars turned red, not from dust, but from fire. Admiral Sarah Vance stood on the command bridge of the Excalibur, staring at the holographic map flickering before her. The Concorde had committed over 1,000 ships to retake the Sol system. Earth had less than half that number. The odds were suicide. Good. Engage, she ordered, voice steady. Let them bleed for every meter. The Battle of Mars began with silence, then chaos. Human warships darted through the void like predators, their designs ugly but brutally efficient. AI-guided flak tore into Concorde formations. Kamikaze drones detonated in coordinated packs, shredding capital ships. But still the Concorde advanced. Their vessels were elegant and ancient, flowing with light. Their weapons were precise. Their fleet discipline flawless. But they did not expect madness. They did not expect humans. Below the orbiting war, Martian cities long thought dormant came alive. Hackers, engineers, and rebels emerged from decades of Concorde-imposed neutrality and joined Earth's call. The Red Uprising sent viral AIs into the heart of enemy ships, crashing NAV systems, overloading reactors, turning order into chaos. On board the stealth corvette Wraith, Amari-chun led Strike Team Reaper into the heart of a Concorde dreadnought. Her armor was scarred. Her voice was harder now. She didn't hesitate as she plunged her plasma blade into alien flesh. She'd memorized their anatomy, studied their patterns, hated their language. Reaper Squad fought with brutal precision, breaching the dreadnought's core chamber. Amari placed the warhead by hand, a micro-black hole generator stolen tech Earth should never have possessed. Detonation in 90 seconds, her AI announced. She ordered her team to fall back, but she stayed. Her final message crackled across the comms. "Tell Vance I kept my promise. Let the galaxy remember this scream." The dreadnought imploded silently, folding in on itself like a dying star. When Earth forces regrouped, they found a field of wreckage and burning wrecks, and no trace of Amari. But they had won. Mars was theirs. The first major victory in the war. Back on Earth, billions mourned and cheered. Songs were written, statues commissioned. Amari-chun became a symbol, the blade of Earth. Yet within the galactic Concorde, fear gripped the Council. Humanity wasn't just surviving. They were evolving. Fast, violent, unpredictable. Fleet Master Vale Zarek, a veteran of 1,000 campaigns, addressed the Council. "We cannot treat them like any other species. They do not break under pressure. They sharpen." But the Concorde decision was already made. They would not risk another loss. They would not allow Earth to grow further. In the shadows of a dead moon, the Concorde activated their final solution, a planet-killing dreadnought AI, locked in stasis for 10,000 years. Its name was the Silence of Suns, and it was coming for Earth. Vengeance ignites the stars. The silence before the storm was deafening. The galaxy watched as Earth prepared for its final confrontation. The Silence of Suns, a moon-sized dreadnought created by the Concorde's darkest engineers, was fast approaching. Its sheer mass and devastating weaponry made it an executioner's axe. One strike, and Earth would be reduced to rubble. In the heart of Earth's capital, General Elias Gregor stood before a holographic map of Sol, his face tense. The last remaining fleet of humanity gathered, half of what they had at the start of the war. But the losses only hardened them. "We don't have the luxury of time," Vance said, stepping into the command room. Her eyes were cold, her voice steady. "This is it. We stop it now, or we die trying." The human fleet had only one hope: Operation Final Dawn. A desperate gambit to use a stolen Concorde warp core to teleport a phase singularity device directly into the heart of the silence. It was a one-way mission, and the crew of the Excalibur knew it. Amarichan wasn't there, but her spirit lived in every one of them. Her sacrifice had become the rallying cry of the war. "We're not going to hide behind walls anymore," Vance had said. "We go into the dark, and we bring the light." Aboard the Excalibur, the crew had prepared. The ship was armed with humanity's deadliest weapons: phase singularity bombs, AI-assisted maneuvers, and explosive charge units scavenged from alien technology. Yet none of it mattered without one thing: the will to win. Amari had inspired them. She had shown them that even in the darkest hours, humanity could rise and fight, not just for survival, but for retribution. The Silence of Suns entered orbit, its presence casting an unnatural shadow across the Sol system. Its weapons were already charged, ready to turn Earth into a smoking husk. But humanity wouldn't be cowed. They charged into battle with the roar of defiance. "Prepare for battle," Vance barked. Her heart raced, but her voice didn't betray a hint of fear. This was her moment. This was Earth's moment. The Excalibur led the charge, joined by a dozen other ships. They didn't wait for orders. They dove into the black, coming at the dreadnought from all sides. Their numbers were few, but their hearts were full of rage. The Silence opened fire first. Beams of annihilation lashed out, raking across the ships, breaking apart hulls and flashes of brilliant fire. Human ships retaliated with calculated chaos, their flight paths erratic, knowing they couldn't outgun the enemy, but could outmaneuver it. And then the impossible happened. A small corvette, filled with volunteers, made the suicide run. Amari's old team, now led by a veteran pilot named Jackson Hale, guided the warp breaker straight into the heart of the Silence. They deployed the phase singularity bomb just as the dreadnought's weapon systems charged up for one final blast. "Goodbye, Earth," Jackson whispered as he slammed the detonator. The blast was deafening. A wave of energy engulfed the dreadnought. The galaxy itself seemed to bend. For one heartbeat, everything stopped. Then, the Silence of Suns was no more. The debris that had once been a weapon of mass destruction now floated aimlessly in space, a testament to human will. But at what cost? Earth was still scarred, its people broken, but the fight had been won. And though the victory was bittersweet, one truth remained: the galaxy would remember Earth, not as a dying world, but as a force that dared to fight back. One planet against the stars. With the battle ended, humanity stood victorious, but wounded. Earth had paid a steep price, but their vengeance had been fulfilled.